Paulie Malignaggi says it is criminal what they did to Ishmael Barroso in the Rolly fight. That's what I want to talk about. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Let's talk about it. Now, the outspoken Paulie Malignaggi, he weighed in on the Rolly becoming a champion fight. He says, quote, "I thought the knockdown was a pushdown. Okay, you can forgive that mistake, but you cannot forgive the stoppage. This is a theme in boxing, and it's horrible. The reason it's not a mistake, people talk about judges or when a ref makes a call, what was he thinking? No, bro. They were thinking, here's my problem. I personally like Tony Weeks. Here's my problem. These mistakes never happen for the benefit of the B side. If these were real mistakes, they would happen for the benefit of the A side and the B side. Instead, they only and always happen for the benefit of the A side. And for that reason, they are not mistakes. Nobody can convince me that these bad random scorecards or these bad random referee calls, first of all, this is the worst referee call that I've ever seen, possibly worse than Meldrick Taylor and Julio Cesar Chavez. Barroso is not even hurt. He's fighting back. He's just fatigued. He is not hurt. I don't know if it was a panic for Tony Weeks where he had to get Rolly the win. It may have been a panic and you got to stop the fight. That was the most ridiculous stoppage I've ever seen in my life. That stoppage was criminal. And when you put into play for what Barroso needs in his life and how he probably needed this win, when you put into play that he's probably being screwed by whichever team has him and whatever money he did get for this fight, how much he's being screwed out of a high percentage of it. How do you screw a guy like that? A guy in that position who's been what Barroso has been through. What is boxing going to do? Somebody should demand a rematch. Showtime should make the rematch and should demand the rematch. Now, Paulie Malignaggi, that was a lot. And he's been privy to bad decisions. You know, the one Baby Bull Diaz fight, he went off and I think it was in Texas, things like that. So he knows what he's talking about. I think he also thought he won the Broner fight. And, you know, he's right. I've made the same point in the past, is the reason you know it's not a mistake is how come it only benefits, like when it's Canelo Lara, it only benefits Canelo. Like the Levi Martinez scorecard that's real wide is in favor of Canelo. Or in this situation, you know, it was a Mayweather Promotions event and the Mayweather Promotions fighter gets the quote unquote premature or controversial stoppage. And you look at the Canelo Triple G, who, if you had to guess who this Golden Boy who put on the first fight, if they had a horse in the race, who would it be? Triple G with K2 Promotions and Tom Loeffler? Or would it be their fighter, Canelo Alvarez? And you know the answer. And that first fight was scored a draw. Realistically, in my view, that was Canelo's second loss. Actually, third loss, because I thought he lost to Lada. So realistically, Canelo's record that people praise is really not, it shows something different that it's not. He should have lost to Floyd. Even in the Floyd fight, CJ Ross had a scorecard that said the fight was a draw and Canelo lost every round. So how is it a draw in a 12-round fight? That means you won 6 rounds, and we know that Canelo lost every round. So these things don't make sense. Paulie's making a lot of sense. And listen, when it comes to boxing, some people, they have disdain for certain commentators and other things that commentators have said, pro or con, or that you agree with or don't agree with in the past. People wager that on what they're saying now. Paulie Malignaggi, you know, whether you love him or hate him, I think right here, he's dead on the money. I know he said some things about Devin Haney or Lomachenko is going to beat Devin Haney and beat a white, but we're talking about this Rolly situation, and I think he's right. I think a rematch is in order for this particular fight. Anytime in boxing or really like any combat sport that people are so triggered and angry, I think that's cause for you to run it back just to clear the air. And both guys know what they're going into. You felt each other's power. You've been in the ring with each other for several rounds. So run it back and see what happens in the rematch. So I definitely think the fight, because if you don't, it's just going to haunt you. You know, imagine if Andre Ward did what Canelo did. And what I mean is never rematch Lada. Imagine if Ward who didn't really have many controversial fights, but the one controversial fight with Kovalev where people are like, oh, it could have went any other way, he did what was right by immediately running back. Imagine if Mayweather didn't run it back immediately with Castillo or Maidana. That would kind of haunt his career. But luckily, you got fighters like Mayweather and Ward and Jermell Charlo, where when Charlo's fighting Castano and there's a quote-unquote controversy or a draw, they want to run it back. Even Wilder with the Fury fight, even though he lost the second and third fight, the first fight was a draw, he was ready to run it back immediately. So it shows the integrity of that fighter. So we'll see what's next. But I always feel like in situations like this, it behooves the fighter, because you're running around, you got a belt, you're saying you're a champion, people are always going to look at it and put an asterisk by it. Let me know what you guys think of Paulie Malignaggi and my assessment. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Best in the business. And I'm out.